Good evening, and Merry Christmas. This welcome is from my colleague Jude Geiger. We gather this hour to celebrate the most extraordinary story birthed in the most ordinary moments, where we find the promise of life within the face of a baby, where our heroes, a mother, a son, the adoptive father, are all travelers, homeless, resting before a night. We can imagine all too well a time where the powerful fear a message of compassion, a message of compassion, of peace, of simplicity, when it is wrapped in dirty swaddling clothes, sleeping in a food trough among animals and the mess of poverty. A child born of a yet unwed mother, a father whose ties are solely love, and a lifestyle that can only be called migrant. From the midst of vulnerability, we learn a new way, a love that moves our hearts, a vision of peace in an age of violence, and hope where one would not expect to find it. It all begins in the quiet solitude of a family, with the meek of the earth, with the people that must find another path, knowing principalities and powers can never satisfy the least among us. May the Christmas story birth in all of us a sense of possibility, a renewal in the faith in the breadth of the human spirit, despite the failings of the world. That every child that's born, this wonder is made known. We are given a gift that is our own. On this night of peace, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts with the ringing of our chime. I'm thinking I need that. Friends, welcome Larry to being my worship assistant tonight. Our planned for worship assistant tested positive for COVID this afternoon, and Larry was impressed into service this evening as he arrived. So thank him for his service to us tonight. Will you join me in the words for the lighting of our chalice tonight by Jekaren Oleaya. We light this chalice here in the darkness of a winter as we wait. This space is filled with prayers to be answered, love to be given and received, miracles to be witnessed. May this light guide us until the light sun returns again. And we're just going to go ahead and light the Christmas candles without the little interlude, since it's all us tonight. So we're going to light this last Christmas candle. The last candle is for Christmas. We'll light all of the rest of them as well. The candles that we have lit throughout the Advent season here. Lighting the white one, the very last. Celebrating Christmas coming. We rejoice in the light of this candle and open our hearts to receive its warmth, illumination, and joy. Thank you, Larry. Our opening song is "Oh, How Lovely is the Evening When Christmas Bells Are Ringing." And I believe we will be instructed on how to do this.
Indeed.
Indeed.
The choir is going to help you sing this three-part round. So everyone who is sitting in this section will be part one. On either side of the aisle is part two, and over there is part three. And we're kind of dividing ourselves that way too. We're going to sing it through once all together. Your words are going to be up on, there's the three parts. And we're going to do all together, and then we're going to start our round, and we're going to do the round 3 times. And when we finish, we'll all be doing ding, dong, ding, dong. Okay, so like that. Nam is our starting note, everybody. And, oh, you want that one? Okay, we'll take that one. You know what? If you want to stand up, that would be good. If you are comfortable standing up, this is our opening song. Ready? And, oh, how lovely is the evening, when the Christmas bells are ringing, sweetly ringing, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, how lovely is the evening, when the Christmas bells are ringing, sweetly ringing, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, how lovely is the evening, when the Christmas bells are ringing, sweetly ringing, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, how lovely is the evening, when the Christmas bells are ringing, sweetly ringing, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Oh, how lovely is the evening. Nice. Our reading is from Luke 2, verses 1 through 14, translated by the Reverend Dr. Walda Gaffney. Now it happened in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered for taxation. So all went to be registered, each to their own towns. Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, for he was from the house and heritage of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was betrothed and who was pregnant. So it was that while they were there, the time came for her to birth her child. And she gave birth to her firstborn son and swaddled him and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn. Shepherds were in that region, they stayed in their fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. Then an angel of the Most High God came upon them, and the glory of the living God shone around them, and they were greatly terrified. Our carol now is number 245, Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the word is come. Let earth with praises ring. Let every heart prepare a room. And nature sing, and nature sing, and nature sing. Joy to the earth, now gladness reigns. Let bards their songs employ, of fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains. Repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. Let righteousness its glory show, as far as love is found, as far as love is found, as far as love is found.
A poem by Madeline L'Engle. The Risk of Birth. This is no time for a child to be born, with the earth betrayed by war and hate, and a comet slashing the sky to warn that time runs out and the sun burns late. This was no time for a child to be born in a land in the crushing grip of Rome. Honor and truth were trampled by scorn. Yet here did the Savior make his home. When is the time for love to be born? The inn is full on planet Earth, and by a comet the sky is torn. Yet love still takes the risk of birth. Let's sing again. Number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, when angels bending near the earth to touch their harps with their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lonely plains, they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babble sounds the blessed angels sing. But with the woes of war and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the angels' train have rolled 2,000 years of wrong, and we who fought in the wars hear not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise of battle strife, and hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet once foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendor sing, and the whole world give back the song which now the angels sing.
The Camels Speak by Lynn Unger. Of course, they never consulted us. They were wise men, kings, star readers, and we were merely transportation. They simply loaded us with gifts and turned us toward the star. I ask you, what would a king know of choosing presents for a child? Had they ever seen a baby born to such simple folks, so naked of pretension, so open to the wind? What would such a child care for perfumes and gold? Far better to have asked one born in the desert, tested by wind and sand. We saw what he would need, the gift of perseverance, of continuing on the hard way, making do with what there is, living on what you have inside. The gift of holding up under a burden, of lifting another with grace, of kneeling to accept the weight of what you must bear. Our footsteps could have rocked him with the rhythm of the road, shown him comfort in a harsh land, the dignity of continually moving forward. But the wise men were not wise enough to ask. They simply left their trinkets and admired the rustic view. Before you knew it, they were turned again toward home, carrying men only half willing to be amazed. But never mind. We saw the baby, felt him reach for the bright tassels of our gear. We desert amblers have our ways of seeing what you chatterers must miss. That child at heart knows something about following a star. Our gifts are given, have no doubt. His life will bear the print of who we are. Our next carol is number 231, Angels We Have Heard on High.
Angels we have heard on high, sweet sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. See him in a manger laid, whom the angels praise above. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
This evening, the offering will go to the minister's discretionary fund. This is used for any QUF member or local persons who are in financial need. If you'd like to donate to this worthy cause, you have a few options. The ushers will now come among us and receive the offering for those of you here in person. For those of you viewing online, text the amount you'd like to give to the number now showing at the bottom of the screen. Or go to our website, QUUF.org, and click on the giving link. Or, old-fashioned way, simply mail a check to QUUF. Just remember to put discretionary fund in the memo line. We will now gracefully receive your offering as we listen to the QUF choir, who will sing, "Lo, How a Rose."
From
Thank you, choir. This year, as Peter and I got ready to celebrate Christmas, we realized that there were things missing from our latest move. And one of the things that went missing was the Christmas gorilla. Now, the Christmas gorilla has come out every year of our marriage, and it usually sits on our rocking chair right next to the pillow that says, "Meet me under the mistletoe," and a plush snowman. But it has somehow gone awry. We're not sure where it went to. But I want to tell you the story of the Christmas gorilla. Now, it is a white and red gorilla with a lovely Christmas hat with a few bits of holly on it and a white band and a red top and a little pom-pom at the end. And it has a kind of crooked grin. It's always smiling when you look at it. It was in the mid-1980s when the gorilla came to me, and I have to say it has become very dingy over the years. The cheap polyester scarf around its neck has started to pill, and the white has gone, as I say, all dingy. And the fringe at the end of the scarf is all tattered. But it still came out until this year. It was Gabriel who gave it to me all those years ago, and the gorilla's face still makes me think of him. A lovely, sweet 3-year-old, his mother brought him to the child care center where I was the director because the doctors recognized, the doctors who were helping him to heal recognized that he needed to socialize with children of his own age, and his mother protected him way too much. Her love was smothering him, and he just needed some space to run free. You see, an accident with a drunk driver many years before or a couple of years before, had done it to him. All of the family had been injured in the accident, but little Gabriel, only 2.5 at the time, had suffered a head injury and was in a coma for some months and now was in rehabilitation. The doctor's report said that he had partial hemiparesis and that this prospect for him to get better was good, except that he needed some space, and we at the daycare center meant to give it to him. He came in 3 mornings a week. His long, thick hair was always in his eyes. It grew so long because his mother, at his bedside, as he laid unconscious and his survival was not certain, oddly enough, his mother in prayer had promised the Virgin Mother that she would not cut his hair if he survived. So it grew out long and thick, covering the place where they had to cut open his skull to relieve the pressure on his brain. We knew that there was a soft spot on his head that we needed to take care that he didn't bump. One day when he was calm and sitting with me, I softly felt around, and the hole was the size of a quarter and nearly as round. It was early autumn when he began to come to the daycare center. Manju and Shirley were his main teachers, though I was in the classroom as well. He had no attention span. He would dart from one activity to another, look at a book and then fling it down, grab a few blocks and abandon them as another toy caught his eye, and off he would go again. One of us was always with him, trying to get him to stay for a moment more with a puzzle or a Lego blocks, but nothing worked to occupy him. No matter the weather, we spent a lot of time outdoors every day. The children would all get their coats and hats and scarves and bring them to the rug in our room to put them on. Gabriel would just run around the classroom. I or one of the other teachers would grab his coat and throw it down and say, Gabriel, come, put your coat on. We did that trick, you know the trick where you put the hood up near where their feet are and they just plunge their hands in and they go, and it's on? Did y'all know that trick? Works beautifully, but he would never do it. Come put your coat on, Gabe, we would call, and eventually one of us would go over, take him by the hand, walk him over to the coat, put his hands in, and then wriggle him up. And we would go outside. We kept hoping that one day we'd see him do it on his own. Outside, he loved to run. Only it was this kind of lopsided run. Up on the toes of his right foot, he would galump along, always tottering, always on the brink of falling. The urge to run after him, arms stretched out, making a protective bubble around him, struck all of us at one time or another, but we restrained ourselves, knowing that he needed to run, knowing that he didn't get to move like this when he was at home. After a snack and an art project and some books, not that he could sit for any of those, I would walk him up to where he caught a bus home. Again, as he darted around the classroom, I would pick up his coat and lay it out for him. Put your coat on, Gabe, I would intone, more a chant or a ritual than an actual request for him to do something. That's just how it worked. A few minutes later, I would take him by the hand and put his coat on, and we would walk through the halls of the school where my daycare center was located. Week after week, it was like this. His painting was the same sort of blur that he was, a swipe of red or blue or green across the paper, and he would be on the move again, looking for something else to occupy his very, very short attention span. His tottering across the playground continued, but he seemed a little more sure on his feet, not as wobbly as he had been in those first few days. By the end of October, probably 2 months later, he began to slow down a little bit and focus on a task. He made a paper bag for Halloween. The construction paper shapes were randomly slapped on a bag with too much glue, but it was something he had done mostly by himself, a true victory for all of us. The puzzles that had only landed on the floor as he looked at and discarded them on his way past the puzzle rack were now taken to the table and dumped out. Putting the pieces back in wasn't really his concern, but sometimes he did get one or two in place. A Monday morning, as we neared Christmas, Manju, one of his teachers, did not arrive at 10:30 to start her workday. The time had come and gone, and I was a bit worried because she was never late. Distracted by the activities of the day, I went on with the plan, her absence an irritant in the background. It was after 11:30 when the phone rang out in the hall. On the other end was my boss, saying that Manju's husband had called into the main office. Over the weekend, there had been an accident. While driving to the airport to drop off a family friend who had been visiting, a car driven by a man with blood alcohol level easily twice the legal limit crossed the median strip and slammed into their car. Everyone had bumps and bruises, and a couple had broken bones, but Manju had been killed instantly. She would never come back to work. In a fog, I went back into the classroom. Shirley knew immediately that something was wrong. I whispered to her what had happened, my mind racing to sort out how to tell these 15 children that their teacher, beloved by them all, would never be back. And then, noting the time, I went and got Gabriel's coat. Tossing it down on the floor, I began the ritual chant, "Gabe, come and put your coat on." Looking around at the children sitting on the rug, quietly reading books, my heart felt broken. And then one of their voices filled the room. "Miss Linda, look at Gabe." His hands had slid into the sleeves. His arms were up over his head as he shimmied his puffy winter coat down onto his body. A look of triumph was on his face as he tottered over to me to have me zip him up. The other children came to their feet, clapping for Gabriel, now steadier, now more attentive, now better able to take care of himself. We all cheered and gave him hugs, and I walked him up to the bus, feeling like some measure of balance had been restored to the world. No life is a payment for another. Nothing could take away the grief of Manju's death, but Gabe was more and more restored. Somehow life did carry on, did lift up through the sadness and the loss. It was a shining gift that I received that day. At Christmas time, his mother brought me the Christmas gorilla. Its round face not unlike Gabriel's, and it has been an ongoing reminder so that each year at Christmas he would come back to me again, the picture of that tottering child, the picture of his arms upraised in victory. Christmas is about so many things. The birth of a child, the saving of the world, hope in the darkness, light in the night. Christmas is about the gifts we get to, though mostly, of course, it's about the gift of love that comes wrapped in so many different packages. The Christmas gorilla represents them all for me: love and light, hope and promise. And when he was with me, he would remind me, when I was quiet enough to listen, he would tell me to remember it all, that in the face of darkness, light is possible. In the face of despair, hope can come. In the midst of sadness, a moment of promise might arrive. And he reminds me that a new birth is ever waiting in unlikely places. So may it be. Amen. Let's sing again. Where are we? We're at On This Day, everywhere, 249, if you want to look in the hymnal. Thanks.
oh, oh, oh.
Let's settle in for a few moments of quiet and reflection, a time for prayer, meditation, simply reflecting as is most comfortable for you. If it's comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes perhaps and let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Take a few deep breaths. Words by Jan Richardson, How the Light Comes. I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves, searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten, or in peril, or in pain. That it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through an eye, a hand, a heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you, though it may seem long ages in coming or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so, may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes. Let us pause for a time of stillness together. So may it be. Amen. As is the custom, we will close tonight's service with hymn 251, Silent Night. After I speak a couple of benedictions, the ushers will light your candles from the Christmas candle. The first person on the aisles will receive the flame and then pass it along down the row. After we sing all the verses together, I invite you to depart into the sanctuary and and go to the foyer in silence, beginning with the front row. The ushers will indicate that when it's time for your row to stand and go. You may keep your candle lit or you may extinguish it. And please return the plastic holder for us to use again next year. But before we step into that, I leave you with two benedictions, my two very favorite, and I couldn't choose, so you get both of them. Words from my colleague Jim Curtis. I wish for you, all around you, people who love easily and forgive quickly, whose eyes are stars when you are night, whose voices are trumpets when you are silence, I wish for you people about you who are gifts in themselves and whose presence in your life is an all-year-round present. And these words from Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star and the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, and to make music in the heart. So may it be. Amen, and blessed be. I would invite the ushers to come forward. That's it. That's how it works. Okay, let's do a demo of how to do this.
Amen.